Hi. Today, we'll be going over how to simplify algebraic expressions. This is a very key part of algebra, and if you master this, you're well on your way to understanding the entire field of algebra. But first, let's go over some key terms. I'm going to be saying these next couple words or phrases over and over and over again. And to avoid confusion, I'm just going to give you the translation from math speak to actual practical English. So, we have a couple key terms that we have to understand. A variable, x or y or z, is a letter, which is a symbol. It represents an unknown value in an algebraic expression or equation. Next, we have the coefficient. A coefficient is a number that's attached with a variable. For example, 4x or 3y. This basically tells us how many x's and y's we have, right? In this case, this coefficient of 4 means that we have 4 x's. And this coefficient of 3 means we have 3 y's. A constant is a number. It's a term that has a clear, single, unchanging value. For example, 5, 6, 7, they're all constants. Terms are sort of sections of equations or expressions. For example, if we had 6x plus 3y, I would say we would have two terms in this expression, 6x and 3y. Like terms are variables with the same letter raised to the same exponent. For example, if I had, say, 6x squared and 5x squared, I'd say they were like terms. Like terms means that we can combine and add them. So I have 11x squared. I just add these coefficients here together. And that is all my basic terms. Now, you'll often be given many problems where you will be asked to simplify. So first, let's start with the basics. Say I'm adding 3x plus 6y plus 7x plus 4y. Well, the first thing I'm going to use, since I'm adding all my terms, is use the commutative property. Remember that? That basically says if we're multiplying or adding, we can change the order of our terms in this expression. So I'm going to rearrange it like this. 3x plus 7x plus 6y plus 4y. Now, I say that these two terms right here, 3x and 7x, both have an x in them. That means they're like terms, and I can combine them. The same goes for 6y and 4y. Now I'm going to combine them. Now, how do I do that? I basically add together the coefficients next to each x. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So I have 10x plus 6 plus 4, which is 10. So I have 10y. So my simplified answer is 10x plus 10y. Now, let's use some distributive property, right? Say I have something like this. 3x plus 2, and then multiplied in parentheses, x minus 4. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. We're going to have to distribute this 2 to each one of its targets, right? So we're going to have 3x plus 2 times x minus, because remember we always keep the sign to just bring them down, minus 2 times 4, which is 8. So I have 3x plus 2x minus 8. I say, hey, these two are like terms. So I add the coefficients together. 3 plus 2 is 5, so I have 5x minus 8. That is my new simplified expression, right? We can also use the distributive property in more tricky examples. Let's say I have something like this. 3x minus, in parentheses, 2 minus x. We can still use the distributive property. Just imagine that this minus sign is actually a negative 1. Right? Negative 1 times 2. That's negative 2. Negative 1 times x, that's negative x. We bring this down, because remember, we never change these symbols, these add, subtract, multiply, divide. So I have minus negative x, which is actually the same thing as adding x. And then, of course, I have 3x minus 2 plus x. I can use the commutative property to rearrange my expression. I'm just going to take this x, since I'm adding it, and move it over here. So I'm going to have 3x plus x minus 2. I say, hey, these are like terms. It means I can combine them. The coefficient of this one is 3. The coefficient of this one doesn't seem to exist, but whenever there's not a number here, we always assume it's 1. So this is actually 1x. And remember, to simplify, we add the coefficients together. And since 3 plus 1 is 4, we have 4x minus 2. That is our simplified expression. So, these are a couple tricks and a couple good practice, and all your important terms defined so you can start simplifying expressions. Now, this will take practice. It's not exactly easy, and it's certainly not something you'll be able to pick up right away. But there are rules, there's a structure that you can use, and you just got to get comfortable knowing when and where to use those properties. The best thing you can do is practice. Now, I hope this video gave you the terms, the tools, and the general strategy and mindset you want to use when simplifying these expressions. I hope this helped. That's all I have, and I hope you have a great day.